beneath the desolate expanse of barren desert, hides a secret buried for 8 million years. A remarkable discovery that will not only change history, but also shake the foundations of modern science. What if intelligent beings lived long before the first humans, leaving behind traces, artifacts, even mysterious symbols that have never been deciphered? Amidst the pressure of power and global surveillance, a group of scientists must choose: silence the truth, or speak it out even though the world isn't ready. This story isn't just science fiction. It's a dark glimpse into humanity's greatest questions. Read the story until the end. And if you feel the same thrill, let us know in the comments. Do you think we are truly the only civilization to have ever existed on Earth? In the remote Ethiopian desert, in the arid and almost inhospitable Afar region, the scorching heat seemed to bake the earth. There were no shady trees, no birdsong, only dry wind and dust dancing wildly amidst the cracked earth. Yet in this unlikely place, world history was poised to be rewritten. Dr. Rahman Iskandar, a senior paleoanthropologist from Indonesia, was leading an international expedition team in search of the remains of prehistoric life. He was no stranger to such harsh terrain. He had spent decades exploring the Earth's layers to answer one simple question: where did humans come from? That morning, in the midst of a nearly boring excavation, a loud noise came from the west of the excavation. A young researcher, Alina from Turkey, called out to the team. Her hands trembled as she pointed to something partially buried in the hard sand. A bone fragment. But not just any bone. When Dr. Rahman saw it, his breath caught. The skull was larger than any hominid he had ever seen. The skull's outer surface bore symmetrical scratches that looked like a carved pattern. Not the marks of an animal's teeth or the pressure of a stone, but a deliberate pattern. It was as if this creature had sculpted. The team immediately got to work. They dug carefully, removing layer after layer. It wasn't just a skull. There were parts of a hand bone, a lower jaw, and even a small, circular piece of metal embedded near the ribs. Impossible. Metal. Alongside millions of year-old bones. Initial measurements indicated the age of the layer of soil was around 8 million years. Far older than Lucy's fossil, which was only about 3.2 million years old. Far older than Homo habilis, Homo erectus, or even Australopithecus. This is impossible, Alina whispered. But tools don't lie. If this finding were true, then the entire map of human evolution, the entire history of human origins, would have to be reconsidered. Could there have been an intelligent species that lived long before Homo sapiens? And if so, where did they go? That afternoon, under a golden desert sky, the research team realized they had found more than just a fossil. They might have unlocked a profound secret that had been buried in silence. A secret that would shake the world. Nights at the research camp were always quiet, but that night was different. There was no light laughter or idle chatter around the tent. All eyes were fixed on the main table, where the mysterious artifact lay. Under the light of a portable lamp, the small, circular object gleamed faintly. It looked like a flake of metal, but it bore barely discernible microscopic engravings. Dr. Rahman instructed the team not to touch the object without tools. They called in a geochemist from the Italian team, Lorenzo, to examine the material's composition. After an hour of rapid analysis, Lorenzo delivered the results in a low but firm voice. This metal is not from the natural composition of the Earth at that time. It is an alloy of titanium and carbon commonly used in modern technology. Everyone was silent. Impossible. No civilization 8 million years ago should have been able to create such an alloy. Even Homo sapiens only began to recognize metal a few thousand years ago. But here it was, embedded within the bones of the mysterious creature. And it showed no signs of modern contamination. Dr. Rahman stared up at the pitch-black night sky. His heart pounded erratically. He felt like he was standing on the precipice of an unknown history. If this metal truly dated back 8 million years, then the world was facing a puzzle greater than anything humanity had ever discovered. Meanwhile, Alina continued to study the carved patterns on the skull they had found. She magnified the digital image from the microscopic camera and scrutinized each line. Suddenly she stopped. There was a repetition of the pattern. It wasn't random. It formed symbols. It resembled a language, but not any known language. They sent the image to a data center in Germany for ancient linguistic analysis. In less than 2 hours they received a reply. The symbols bore a structural resemblance to a writing system of unknown origin, known as the Denagon script, an ancient symbol found in Central Asian rocks but never successfully translated. Dr. Rahman clutched his field notes tightly. What had they actually found? An intelligent being, with the ability to carve, leaving behind metal artifacts, and perhaps writing. If this was not simply an archaeological anomaly, then there was something far older than human civilization, something beyond mere remnants. But perhaps it was buried on purpose. And now, slowly, it's starting to awaken from its long slumber. 3 days after the discovery of the mysterious metal and symbols, the research camp was transformed into a restricted zone. The Ethiopian government, in collaboration with international agencies, began restricting access. Reconnaissance satellites were directed at the site. Armed guards were deployed. All communications were monitored. But no one knew what was really being covered up. Dr. Rahman and his team were summoned to the main post by representatives from a global intelligence agency. They didn't come with threats. They came with smiles. But behind those smiles lurked a cold intent. Your findings are of great importance to the world. But not all truths are ready to be revealed to the public, said the man in the dark suit in a calm voice. The team was given a choice. Hand over all data, artifacts, and analytical results and return to their respective countries. Or face the legal consequences of disseminating information without international authorization. Dr. Rahman knew this was no longer about science. It was about power. That night, Alina secretly copied all the digital data onto a small chip and tucked it into her personal notebook. She gazed at Dr. Rahman's tent from a distance, her heart heavy. But he knew that if this truth were buried, history would lose the voice that should speak for it. 3 weeks later, Dr. Rahman returned to Indonesia. He appeared calm. But behind his smile, there was an unfinished inner battle. He knew too much. And he couldn't speak about it directly. But a few months after his return, a mysterious scientific journal appeared on the dark web. No author's name. No academic affiliation. It contained images of the skulls of ancient creatures, symbolic patterns on their bones, and analyses of metal compositions impossible for current science to explain. No one claimed authorship. But those who read the journal knew that the world as we know it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. And somewhere, deep beneath the Earth's layers, the truth still lay buried, waiting to be rediscovered. Or perhaps deliberately hidden. For reasons we will never truly understand.